Hello everybody and welcome back to the A-Side. I am your host, Riley, and today I'm here to give the people what they want. Black Country New Road, live at Bush Hall, first reaction on the A-Side. I don't know why I slipped into an Obama impression there, because I was doing the hand signals. Let me be clear. Anyway, yeah, I'm, you guys want it. I know you do. I mean, the other two videos both have 1,000 views each. So this is effectively the third Black Country New Road album, right? So it's a live album, but it's all new material because they made it specifically to play live and to tour with in the absence of Isaac Wood, who departed shortly before Ants From Up There came out. If you don't know, if you aren't familiar with my channel, I've loved both albums. I gave both albums a 10. For the first time, I think it was my third favorite album of 2021, and Ants From Up There was my number one. It was my album of the year in 2022. So I look forward to this. I've been very interested to hear what it's going to sound like with different vocalists. I have up here the Wikipedia on who's doing all the vocals. So we've got Tyler Hyde on most of them, Lewis Evans on a few, and Mark Kershaw on the rest. So it's split between three different people, but mostly we've got Tyler Hyde, and it seems he's going to be the main vocalist from here on out. So, yeah. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and you can always subscribe later if you want, and leave a like. And hit the bell if you want. You don't have to do that. It's, you know. Anyway. First song. Up song. Got the ever classic BCNR saxophone. I'm curious how much the band's going to change with a new vocalist. And like new writers and stuff, because Isaac Wood was awesome. He wrote some beautiful poetic lyrics that really got to my heart. Immediately, very different, right? That bass came in and I was like, that's very like unlike this band. And then it's like got this really fast, like almost like classic rock kind of sound with the going really hard on the piano and like super fast drums. It's like much faster, I mean, it just started, but it's got so much more momentum than their early work, which is interesting because they are a pretty slow, like mid-tempo band. Maybe the only exception is Chaos Space Marine that I can think of off the top of my head. Whereas this immediately is like fast, it's hard hitting, it's got those like pianos that just like doo 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 doo. They're just like beating you across the head, but in the best way possible. That guitar is gorgeous. That repetition there. The lived you once, lived you once, lived you once, lived. I don't know. It's just like really, the repetition makes it feel like more desperate, like you're just like sobbing it out and you can't like get your emotions straight, or like your thoughts straight, only that one like primal emotion just coming out of you. And you wish you could be held. I like the new vocalist a lot too. That's gorgeous. Their timbre is so interesting, and the way they've kind of been doing this, like, they were doing this talky thing, like the kind of spoken word, half kind of spoken word kind of something that Isaac would do. But then here they pop up and they belt it out, and it just makes for a really powerful moment. Oh, the group vocals are nice. Oh, that's a bit on the nose. Look what we did together, BCNR, friends forever. Oh, because it's a live album, live at Bush Hall. They're welcoming everybody. Look at who we are. We're Black Country New Road. Okay. Because I see the lyrics ahead. Thank you very much for coming out. And, I mean, even in their change, right? That saxophone stays very consistent. And this does feel like the next logical step from Ants, too. At least this song. Like, the palette is very similar to Ants, but it's got a whole different vibe. Of course, the new vocalist. But it's got the speed. It's got more of a desperation. Whereas the other word, Ants, was very, like, thoughtful and emotional and deep. This has more of a desperation to it, in my opinion. Maybe a little less, like, intellectual and a little more, like, primal. So yeah, that was great. Right off the bat, like, you're just so curious of what is it going to be like next. And the band really delivers. By making... It felt like they were making a statement, right? Like, with the palette being so similar to Ants, but it feeling like something so different at the same time. It's like, we're still Black Country New Road, but we're the new Black Country New Road, you know? This isn't the Isaac era. This is a new era. And I like that. And it was, you know, it hit hard, it was fast, the pianos, like, really added to, like, this celebratory feel, that the song was kind of going for, with it being like, look at us, we're here, we're doing this live show, and that's what that song really felt like, Upsong. It felt like, you know, hey, we're here, welcome, we're doing this live thing, this is what it's going to be like, this is the new era of the band, we're trying out some new vocalists, trying out some new stuff, see what happens. And it's like very celebratory, you know, it's like we made it through the year, we're here, we're proud of what we've done, and this is what we're going to do in the future. And it worked very well. So I'm giving Upsong the green folder. I'm sure many of you have seen my other videos, but you know, if I like a song, I give it the green folder. If I dislike a song, I give it the red folder. And if I think it's just okay, I'll give it the black GameCube controller. Anyway, Upsong gets the green. Next track is called The Boy. It almost sounds like a funeral. It sounds like bagpipe. I don't know if it's actually bagpipes. That's what it kind of sounds like. And the way they're, like, singing, their vocals feel very, like, mournful. It feels like they're at, like, a church singing. And it feels like a funeral. I don't really know how I feel about it so far. I have to say, this is the first time in their entire discography I've ever been bored. I know it's, I mean, it's been like a minute so far, a minute and a half. I'm like, I mean, it's got this weird, like, the wind in the willows, like, lyricism going on here, telling a story about, like, the animals talking to each other, like, living amongst each other, among us. They're like doing a fairy tale. The strings are nice here. I believe it's a fiddle. It sounds very like... Okay, those arpeggio guitars are nice. That's pretty. But the strings are giving it this like down home, like southern feel. The band is really saving the song right now, because I think what they're doing is cool. Like, the fiddles are giving it this, like, down-home, like, south-west, like, Mississippi River feel, as well as, like, the really pretty flutes and cool arpeggiated guitars. But, I mean, the vocals here, Tyler is, like... It started off very funeral-y, and now it sounds, like, super, like... Look at us, Renaissance fair, like, cliche stuff. I don't care for, like, the Wind in the Willows type fairy tale lyricism here. That cool, the way that guitar is so staccato, it's still playing the arpeggios, the da-da-da-da, but it's doing it so, staccato, da-da-da-da. Just think it's really cool sounding. Those drum fills. Honestly, you can barely tell it's even a live album. It sounds great. The parts layering on top of each other is cool. I'm a big fan of when songs do that. It comes from being a fan of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who does that a lot in his musicals. Man. So is The Boy, right? And I'm very mixed on this song. I think the most mixed I've ever been on a Black Country New Road song. Because musically, like, the band here was doing an amazing job. I mean, those flutes were so mystical and gorgeous. And the fiddles and the strings were giving it, like I said, this western, like, Mississippi, Southwest, like, down-home vibe. And the guitar work here was great. Some really cool, like, playing with, like, accents and arpeggios. And all of the music was beautiful. And even some of, like, the vocal arrangements down near the end where they were, like, harmonizing. And then they had the parts, like, layered on top of each other. Really cool. But for most of that song, vocally, I thought Tyler was pretty uninteresting. First starting out very funeral-esque. And then after that, like a Renaissance fair, like, fairy tale. And the lyricism kind of followed suit with this weird, like, fairy tale thing, like, Wind in the Willows, talking about animals, like, doing shit. And it was really dry and really uninteresting, which is a band that's always been really interesting lyrically. The one I always come back to is, She Flies to Paris, France. I come down in her childhood bed. What the fuck does that mean? And that, like, gets the gears turning, and then for the entirety of the record, like, what are you going on about? And you're thinking about it, and it's so poetic and deep. And then on Ants, you have stuff that just hits so hard, like the line, I can't think of it off the top of my head, where he's like, there's like a couple escape pods left, and you and your friends, your childhood film photos, I fly through the Milky Way, trying to bring back a piece of the stars to come home to you again, like, just so, like, beautiful and like, heart-wrenching. And here it's like something very different, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're trying to do something new and trying to do something different with new vocalists and new, like, directions and a new era. But the pieces don't really all fit for me. That being said, I'm still going to give that song a light green, because musically, I mean, as amazing as always, right? Anyway, I Won't Always Love You, track 3.
I will always love you, and I will always.
It's really not working for me, man. These vocals have kind of really fallen in favor with me so far. I don't know. They're getting to be too shaky, too timbre. It feels like I'm watching like a middle school musical, just a little bit.
I won't always love you, and I won't always want you. I needed you so I could love.
The guitar is gorgeous. I mean, it's got such like a richness and a depth to it. Like it feels like I'm like diving headfirst into like a lake or like an old like a cold like misty river. I mean, the guitar, so much nuance, so much character, so much depth. Piano. That's such a blunt but hard-hitting lyric. I can't live through another night like that. I'm sure we've all had that nights where like, I can't do it anymore, you know, where it's just so hard. You're like, I can't, if every night is like this, I can't do it again. I mean, I'm not built for this. So that's like a really blunt way of putting it, and I like that. It really just... The piano kind of reminded me of early Muse. Like, a little bit of, like, absolution on the piano here, which is interesting. Oh, the strings, man. That's gorgeous. I'm loving the strings. I'm loving so much of the musicality here. Although I'm noticing a bit of a formula with these last two songs, is that it starts off all slow and they're just like crooning softly, and then it like swells to the end and is beautiful by the end. Let's not get too formulaic here, guys. Like, let's maybe keep it a little fresh. But hey, I'm still gonna give it the green. Another light green. I mean, this isn't like blowing me away like previous Black Country New Road albums have, but they're still figuring stuff out. They're trying new stuff. It's a transitional record, and the instrumentation still sounds gorgeous here. It's just, I think, lyrically and vocally, they're still trying to figure things out. Still trying to figure out what their vocal style is going to be, who their vocalist is going to be, what their lyrical style is going to be like, who's going to like write. So, you know, it's understandable. It's not like, what were they thinking? Oh my god, this is fucking garbage. It's like, okay, it's a little clunky in places. It's not always working, but they're still trying to figure things out. And I think it's, if anything, it's more interesting to see that than anything, rather than me sitting here being like, I don't like this for this, this, and this. It's, okay, maybe it's not always working, but it's interesting because we're seeing the band, like, in real time, trying to figure out what they're going to do and where the pieces are going to fall and how they're going to put themselves back together. I think that's really cool, especially as this isn't like a canon album necessarily. I said it's like effectively the third album because it's all new material, but it's still a live album, so it's an interesting way to introduce this new era and kind of put the pieces together and let everyone see how you're putting the pieces together and how you're trying to figure things out. So I like that. I think that's really interesting. Track 4, Across the Pond Friend. I don't know why the strings here made me think of Evolve. This is like weirdly almost poppy, like the drums here. Do 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 do. Gorgeous guitars. I love that beat. I also love the melodies here. This is Lewis Evans. I gotta say, he's definitely my favorite so far. Oh, those pianos sound so like classical and interesting. He reminds me a lot of Wilbur Soot, and the way he's just so very British, but also like very emotive. So yeah, he's not like technically the best vocalist, but there's a lot of like passion and personality in the vocals, and I like that. It's very endearing, and I like the melodies he's going with, and it feels very real and very, you know, like I said, endearing, and has a lot of personality, and I like that. It's a lot of the same reason why I enjoy Lovejoy, even though Wilbur's not always necessarily the best vocalist technically. I love the personality that's within it. Curve singing is cool. And that drumming. I like that. And then fall back into my arms. Wake up. I like the melodies here. This almost sounds, in a way, like a sequel to Bread song. Like, this bed is no place for man or particles of bread. Now, you know, we're in this bed and we've got, you know, saying we're in the bed, no bread, like no people. And now this song is like, we're together, we wake up, let's eat. So it's maybe not a sequel, but almost like a parallel, like a reflection of one another. Like, one goes one way, one goes the other. So there's this one person who's like, this bed is not for men or particles of bread. By myself, not letting anyone. And this person is, we're together, you know, let's get out of bed and let's go eat. The complete opposite of that sentiment. It's cool. So it's about, the way I'm understanding it, this is about you're with somebody, right? And they're moving to a different nation. I would assume America, saying across the pond, right? So it's about, you know, that you love this person, but then they're leaving, and it's about that, like, push and pull of, like, you're happy for them because they're going to, like, go follow their dreams, but also, like, it hurts, you know, you're gone. So it's, you know, let's wake up, let's eat, have one last time together. That has such a theatrical sound to it. I mean, the fiddle's going on, doing this, like swirling from the bottom to the top, along with the drums just going ham. I think I talked quite a bit why I like that song. But that's easily my favorite so far. So Across the Pond, Friend gets the green. That's my favorite on the record. Anyway, next song is called Laughing Song. We're back to Tyler Hyde as the vocalist, who's the vocalist on the majority of this record, although I gotta say, I really enjoyed Lewis Evans here, who apparently plays all, like, saxophone, flute, so a lot of the, like, all the wind instruments on the record. I wear a mask with a smile for hours at a time, personally.
Had more self-destructive activities at hand. Now I've used them up. Because I let the best go.
This has so far been a very strong track percussion-wise. Feels like it's been very built around the drums and percussion, especially here, where it just kind of faded like that was the only thing, and now everything's being built upon that. Oh, the accordion there, that's really cool. I mean, this right here feels like an emotional peak. Laughing, I won't always love you. Wow! I mean, daggers to my heart, right? Like... Yeah, I really like that one, too. Laughing song. Really felt like it was built around the percussion, right? But then it just got to this big, overwhelming swell, and it felt like a climax, not only of the song, but even of the record, as they're going, laughing, I won't always love you, trousers, turbines, upsong, dancers. Laughing, I won't always love you, trousers, turbines, upsong, dancers. It's like daggers to the heart there, laughing, I won't always love you, like, wow. Yeah, good stuff. You know, Against the Green again. Like, it's not on the same level as those last two records by any means, but it's still really good. Really good. I still need to get Ants on vinyl. If you know where I can get a copy of Ants Rap there on vinyl, let me know, because I've been looking for it. I have for the first time. I bought it for the first time, like, right when it came out. I bought that and Schlagenheim together, actually. Which I don't come back to Schlagenheim all that much. Black Midi is a different band, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent about Black Midi. The next track is called You Wrong Trousers.
Fall away from me. I walked
This song's got a very sad, emotional sound to it. Like, it's got... Like, all their music is sad, right? But this has got, like, that overtly, like, downtrodden, like, walking down the street with her head, like, hung. Army drums are so cliche. I really don't like the army drums of music. Here, though, the drumming was almost like jazzy. That sounded so much like do 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 do. If you know, you know. Still, though, the guitar in this record has been so beautiful, so much depth to it. Like, I feel like so many emotions, and like the guitar here has like taken on like a life and like a persona of itself. Like, there's more depth in the guitar than the lyricism, which isn't a knock to the lyricism. It's a upholster of the guitar. You know, the guitar in this record's been amazing so far. I wonder how much this record is about Isaac, because they kept like going back, like, we made something to be proud of, and like, I miss you, you're gone. Is this like a breakup record, but not literally like a relationship breakup, like Isaac leaving the band? Because this is a couple of times now, like, they're talking about, we made something great, we made something to be proud of. I mean, referring to probably Ants, and I mean the first record too, but everyone loved Ants more. Like, that's amazing, by the way, that For the First Time came out, and everyone was like, this record is great. Black Country New Road is a great band. This is like a 9+, 10 out of 10 record. People were giving it like amazing reviews. And then Anthem Up Here came out, and like nobody cared about it. The album barely exists anymore. That's wild. An album that good was trumped and completely forgotten about by its follow-up shows just how fucking good that follow-up was. And remember I said in like my review or whatever that I preferred the first record. That's actually not the case anymore. I actually do prefer Ants like tenfold over the first record, which I would still give that first record a 10. That's how good Ants was. Like that record was like unquestionably like my 2023 album of the year. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. And I'm simply postulating. I'm not making any accusations or like, putting words in like the mouths of the bandmates here. Simply postulating. Yeah, another one I really like, you know? Like I said, the guitar here on this whole record, but here too. So much depth, so much depth. So, my lisp is really coming out in this video. So much depth, so much like nuance and emotion just in the guitar here. I mean, the guitar is doing more than the people. Once again, it's not to bash any of the, the vocalists and lyricism here, but the guitar, man. Yeah, the wrong trousers gets the green, you know? This has been a pretty pleasant album so far, like I said, it hasn't always been perfect. There have been moments I've been like, what's going on here? But I think overall it's really interesting, and I'm glad to hear this new direction is kind of turning out okay, and that Isaac Levy wasn't the end of a band that had still had so much shine and so much promise. Anyway, this is a really long song. It's almost 10 minutes. Turbine / Pigs. This is going to be like a sicko mode type thing. Yeah, once again, this feels very classic rock. The piano intro, not classic rock, classical. I mean, like classic music, with the piano intro here. And it's just like unfiltered piano too. I like this pairing here between the melody and the piano. That it gives me a certain feel that I can't necessarily put into words, but it's something I felt before in music. It's something that seems so far away, something I felt when I was younger. I can't quite explain the feeling. It's a sad feeling, it's not quite melancholy though, maybe more of a sorrow, like a deeper kind of emotion. Wow, the piano is just beautiful on this track. It hasn't varied much, so it hasn't given me much to say, but it doesn't mean it's bad. So I don't have much new to say, because it's like, kind of the same thing. But it's gorgeous, so I don't have a problem with that. Just throwing that out there. My silence is not a condemnation. That's cool. How they're like rolling on the drums there emulates like the turbines of a jet. Like, it's cool. Trust me. Trust me. It's a really pretty melody. Be a pig. I'm only a pig, right? I really like the repetition too. It's like a affirmation, like, or even like your own like intrusive thoughts, like beating against you as much as you can't like stop it. Like, telling yourself how much you suck and how horrible you are. Even if you don't want to feel that way, you can't stop. Sometimes it's over and over and over again. Interesting. It's just gorgeous, man. The instrumentation of this record, this band, this instrumentation, the band's this instrumentation, the band's instrumentation in general is just gorgeous all the time. But like this track, this record, it's really good, man. It almost feels like classical in a way, like classically like trained, like classical melodies. And it's cool. This is like maybe the biggest departure from their sound so far, being very based around this piano. It's like a piano duet. But it's gorgeous. I mean, the piano really just is blissful all the way through. It's got like this cold airiness to it that when piano's done right, it really can have. I wonder what Bush this is, by the way. Live at Bush Hall. Probably Jeb. It's probably the best of the three, to be honest. Beautiful stuff. It doesn't feel like a 9-minute track either. I mean, we're almost 8 in and it's felt like an instant. I mean, because it's been so gorgeous and so engaging throughout. And I love now how it like swelled to this gorgeous beauty. And it's now, like, descending into chaos. Pieces are, like, falling out of sync with each other. The drums are, like, on a different time, and the woodwinds and the piano. And it's all, like, unraveling before our eyes as the song ends. It's cool. And then it comes back to being sync here. And the dueling saxophone and flute here is really pretty. It's a saxophone and strings together. Actually, that's really pretty. And the piano. They've all like layered on top of each other, doing like the same thing. Really cool. I think this is my favorite song on the record so far. The musicality here is just beautiful. And, like, look, they're going crazy in the crowd. Like, that's what they came here for, right? That ending was gorgeous. I mean, talk about, like, overwhelming beauty and ascension there. Love it. Gets the green. And also that whole first part, I mean, the vocals were just beautiful. It felt very classical in a way. It had this classic beauty to it. Anyway, the penultimate track, Play Dancers. Or Dancers. I'm stupid. Dancers. This album's very piano heavy, but I like that. Like I said, it feels distinct, you know? It feels like the sound on Ants, but taken to somewhere new and pushed in like more of a different direction. Very piano heavy, very classical inspired. So they're keeping things fresh.
To choreograph on a dancers stand very still on the stage. Dancers stand very still on the stage. Dancers stand very still on the stage. Dancers stand very still on the. You recognize their faces, but once you think past that, all the elements, well, they're just gone. You recognize their faces, but once you
That
think
wood block.
past that, well, I'm sorry, but they're just gone. The piece that she spoke about bands.
That guitar there, that was like almost, that's pretty dirty. It's almost like grungy in a way. And it really caught me off guard. Cool, but it caught me off guard. I mean, those guns there, those drums there, like gunshots. I mean, these guys are legit musicians, right?
Dancers stand very still on the dancers stand very still on
The guitar is so pretty. I hate to sound like a broken record, but the guitar is so pretty. Well, they're just gone. Okay, that was Dancers. A little repetitive in places, but overall still a very pretty song. Doing a lot of the stuff I liked in the record. Gets the grain. Last song, Up Song Reprise. And it bleeds right into the last track.
Twice the person you ever dreamed you could be. Did you exchange your soul with the devil? Oh, so that you could.
There's that piano, ending it off, right? So I started how we had a very piano heavy album, but I'm good with that. It's interesting, it's new, it's fresh for the band, but it still works and it still feels like the band. Even despite having different vocalists, it still very much feels like Black Country New Road in that certain way, you know, from the saxophone to the strings and fiddles and violins and to the drumming and the guitar. Oh, it's a gorgeous depth. So that song gets a green. I don't have too much to say about it. But anyway, as I was saying, it all still feels very Black Country New Road. I like that a lot. The fact that this band is so talented, right? I mean, their musicians are amazing here. The drums, the guitar, flute, saxophone, strings, everything is top notch. Maybe always the vocalists don't always work out, and the lyricism doesn't always work out, but they're still figuring out new things with Isaac leaving. I think more than it being bad, it's interesting. Like I said, to see that in real time, putting the pieces together and working things out and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. We're seeing the process of the band in real time. I think when it doesn't work, it's interesting to see that. But the musicianship on this record is consistent throughout, even when they go in a different direction. Like, it's a very piano-heavy album. There are a lot of moments that feel more classical than, like, post-punk or Broadway. The first song, you've got, like, such a speed to it that you've never seen before. But, some of the lyricism here is really great. Some doesn't always work out. Musically, it's consistently really good. Vocally here, sometimes Tyler's good, sometimes Tyler's a little grating. I thought Lewis was great the whole time. Honestly, though, couldn't. May was alright. Kind of, all the vocalists are pretty good. Lewis probably my favorite. But I'm interested to see what happens next. Doing this on a live album is so interesting. And I think it was such a treat to listen to, and a treat to the fans more than anything. Me being the fans, I am a fan. I think I'd give this record like an 8+ out of 10. I really enjoyed it. What did you think of Live at Bush Hall by Black Country New Road? Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of my review? What should I react to or review next? Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.